I talked about this a while ago. I did something like this, a broadcast on this, why we're not African, why black people and so-called African Americans, right, so-called Central Afro Americans, Southern or South American, because just many of our people, right, in South America, as it is here in North America and in Central America. I spoke about why we're not really part of the African continent, or that what they call Africa, what the white man called Africa, the Romans when they colonized that area and called it Africa, right? I said there's a reason why, I'll say this tonight, there's a reason why you don't see people that look like Dikembe Mutombo or Manute Bol. These are basketball players, people who play for the NBA. I'm not talking about the height, I'm just talking about the look. Because, certain Africans from certain regions have a look to them. Really dark, black, blue, black, almost greenish looking black with BB buckshot hair. They don't really grow hair. And they're not very attractive people. We're gonna keep it real tonight. There's a reason why you don't see the Africans or so-called black people that look like them in mass numbers here in America, unless they came here by way of student visa, or they came here, by way of, migration, right? There's a reason why historically you've seen so-called, quote-unquote, African Americans, we look a certain way. We don't look like them. We don't look like Manute Bol and Dikembe Mutombo or Barack Obama for that matter. We don't look like those people. There's a reason. Reason being is because we're not the same people. Reason being is because we are from a whole nother region, north of Africa, what they call today the Middle East. Egypt, Samaria, Nubia, Ethiopia. These are the names a white man gave these places, Kemet, whatever you want to refer to them as. But we are from the north of Africa. North of Africa, not Africa, north of Africa. Even though the white man gave it these names, Africa, Asia, Europe, all these names came from him when he was colonizing the world and taking, and thinking of places and names, calling them continents, and splitting off land masses where people were at. Fact of the matter is, our people were all over the world. He just chose to call the people who he considered to be primitive, tribal people, hut people, Africans, because it was easier to conquer those people, to take over their landmass, because they weren't really advanced or progressive people. They were simple people. Now, that's not nothing bad to say about them. People just think I'm putting down the Africans and saying, oh, how can you say that, brother? That's our people, this, that, and the third. You saying they primitive, according to the white man. I heard it all. I heard it all from I heard the Pan-African rant, where I say, we're not African. You can look and tell we're not those people. We don't look like those people, right? That's the majority of your Africans. Now, you do have some of our people who are amongst the Africans, who lived amongst the Africans, who came from the Middle East, who came from Egypt and Nubia and places like that, and they went into Africa and lived amongst the Africans, but they're not African. They're not those people. Those are the same Africans that sold us into slavery to the white man and to the Arabs. Same Africans. That's why they were able to stay in those regions, right, and maintain their little tribal customs and cultures, and have their little hut villages and things like that, where they never really built anything until a white man came in and built all that stuff up for them. And this is the truth. People get mad and all they want to at me, but I'm telling the truth. And I'm telling the truth, right? Our people came in amongst the Africans, and the Africans didn't like our people, which is why they sold them into bondage. Our people were from the East, Middle East. There's a reason why the white man won't refer to anybody in that area as black. Check it out, he refers to people who come from that area as white. Now, our people are all over that area. Our people were the original inhabitants of those areas. Before the white man, before the Arabs, before anybody that came over, to the Asians, we were the original inhabitants of that area called the Middle East, right? Egypt, Sumeria, Mesopotamia, what they call in Palestine today, which was Babylon. I believe it was Iraq, which is Babylon, I believe. That's to be. But our people were the original inhabitants of this place. See, the problem with that is if you are going to keep a superior mindset over a people, if you're going to produce a master-slave mentality where you're standing as a superior people and you're looking at the people as inferior, how do you do that? You look to a group of inferior people or people who are not builders, people who are not society builders, people who produce governments and ancient governments, and you'll look at them, and just because certain people have somewhat the same complexion, somewhat the same hair, or look somewhat like these people, have certain things that are relative to those people, you equate those people with those people. You'll say, oh, y'all all African, y'all all come from Africa. See, that's how you keep a supremacy thing going. All right? That's how you keep supremacy going. They could say, oh, we took y'all out of the villages and the mud huts and your tribal savage customs and things like that, where you was beating on drums and eating people, and you was painting yourselves all up and tattooing yourself and piercing your bodies and putting gauges in your ear and bones in your nose and branding yourself like animals. And we civilized you. That's what they teach. That's still the mentality here in America. Don't be fooled by it. You can see in any of these racist diatribes, or when your clan or whoever, your racist Southern whites or your Northern or wherever, they always going to show you the black man, or the black woman as tribal, bones in your nose and one around your breasts hanging out half naked. That's what they want to portray of our people. No, they don't want to show the reality, the truth of where we really come from, the reason why they brought us here. That we were the people that built the ancient governments in Egypt, Sumeria, Mesopotamia. They'll sit up here and call Queen T, that sister with her afro, they'll say she's an Asian woman. They'll sit up here and tell a bold-faced lie that these people weren't quote-unquote black people, and that the so-called African Americans are their descendants. That we are the descendants of the Middle Eastern people, those people north of Africa. Not African, north of Africa. Those people, they call the Middle East. That we were the original people there. The people with the afros, the people with the round faces and whatnot, that's our people. The ancient governments that they set their governments up after, no, they don't want to admit that. Because then you can't have a superior-inferior paradigm or dynamic. But see, you can do that with African culture. One of the biggest things they used to push on our people when they was telling us we was black Africans, they used to do those cartoons back in the early 1900s where, the Africans were beating on drums and their lips was all big and everybody was black and had piercings and eating white people and calling them cannibals, and they could claim that because they went in certain parts of Africa and they saw that amongst the tribal Africans. The majority of Africa at that time in the early 1900s was like that until a white man started coming over there and civilizing them. I'm not saying that our people, because you have to get out of that mindset that we're the same as the African. If we was the same as the African, they wouldn't have brought us here. We couldn't have survived here. Right? You bring a people somewhere and they're valuable to you if they can do the work, if they can build. Thomas Jefferson's estate was built by his slaves. D.C. was laid out by a so-called black man. This is a coincidence? The Africans, you look at how they live. The Africans, some of them still tribal. They still living in little huts and things like that, still doing their cultural rituals. And when you see certain, because people say, oh, well, Africa ain't all like that, brother. The Pan-Africans that get up in arms, oh, Africa ain't like that, brother. You hate your people. They not my people. They not our people here in North America. They not your people. The only reason they have technology in Africa is because the white man and the Asians brought it in. That's the truth. And black people sit up here and talk this nonsense about, those strong, they were some strong African warriors over there, and, the warriors this and the warriors, they strong, beautiful African brothers and warrior sisters and this, that, that. Then why the white man control Africa? Why does the white man control Africa? Why don't they have nothing over in Africa? Right? Why is the white man and the Asian over there controlling their continent or their areas? Why did he have to come and put the railroads there, the phone lines there? Why did he have to do that? If these people were so strong and they were such ruling people. If they are people, why are they not representing us in the UN? If they are people, why when they come over here, don't they quote unquote come and join on to the so-called quote unquote African American community? If they your people, if they're your people, black woman, you Pan-Africanist, so-called Pan-Africanist sisters who still got European names, if they're your brothers, then you shouldn't have a problem getting a black man or so-called good black man, because you got plenty of Africans in all those countries in Africa who ain't got no women. They moving around here in America. So you should never be talking about, I can't find a good black man, because there's plenty of Africans here. If they're your people, why don't you tell the truth? You're not attracted to Africans. Y'all not attracted to the Africans. We don't think they're attractive people, just like a lot of us don't think the white man's attractive. And you black men don't think the white man's attractive. You'll sleep with him for money, but you don't think the African men are attractive. That sound good because you want to push this black pride nonsense, but the truth be told, the African men don't really want you either, except probably for sex. And the black man, we ain't really attracted to the African woman. Now, they'll say, you saying that because they dark-skinned. And no. You got dark-skinned Nubian women, sisters, out here who we attracted with froze and everything, natural, because that's natural to us. But I'm talking about them blue, black, greenish-looking African women who we don't find attractive, with the BB buckshots who we don't find attractive. No, they not our people. It's not our cup of tea. There's nothing wrong in saying that. See, we have to get together and get our own identity straight so we can stop trying to latch on to these people. See, because you black people in America, you Negroes who into this Pan-African thing with this red, black, and green made-up flag that you put together here in America that the damn Africans don't even acknowledge. See, because they deal with themselves. They only deal with their countries. They don't deal with this whole African unified flag that y'all came up with. People like what's this guy's name from the 60s? His I'll get his name in a second. Kofi something, I don't know. I forget what his name is. These people are the ones that came with that whole Pan-African thing. And of course the white man will support that. He'll support us being African. He'll let us call ourselves African because he's already put this image out of the Africans already. And it's already permeated the minds of our people that the Africans are savages. He's already put that image out, or that they just simple-minded, right? That's why he'll let you. He don't mind you calling yourself African, but call yourself a Nubian. Say you the ancient Egyptian. See if he don't have a problem with it. He'll fight that tooth and nail because he looks up to the Egyptians and the Nubians, even though he knows that's who you are, and he knows that those two types of people are different. That's why he calls the Middle East, and he calls Africa, because he knows those are two different sections. He calls that north of Africa. You understand? He knows it's different people. He knows that our people went in amongst the Africans and was living there. And some of our people still live there and think that they African. Right? He don't mind calling you African because he knows that he called that continent Africa as he was colonizing the land, mass, and the people and called them Africans. So that's really, when somebody has to give you a name, that's really a master and slave dynamic that's being formed. When he calls you American, that's really, again, because you were brought here by bondage, by force. You didn't choose to be called American. So, again, that's a master-slave paradigm being set here. So, when you call yourself African-American, that's two double slave titles that you take on because they came from him. You didn't decide to call yourself no African. You didn't decide to call yourself American. Yeah, that guy, yeah. Kwame Ture, what's the other guy? Yeah. And like I said, a lot of these Negroes ain't going to like it because they want to push that black, red, and green thing. They want to push that. And like I said, the white man, he's all on board for anything that keep us away from Egypt, that'll keep us away from Nubia, that'll keep us away from the South Americans and the Olmecs who are really not African. The Mende people are not African. You know how you know the Mendes and all those people that built those? Because it wasn't the damn It wasn't those Mayan people, whatever they call them. Even though a lot of your Mayans were black, so-called black people, you could tell our people wherever we go. We the ones that built the pyramids in North America, in South America, in Egypt, right? In Nubia, we built the same things over and over again. Wasn't nobody else doing that. We was the ones setting up the governments here. Now you say that was the trait of our people, that we were builders, that we were society builders. Going from the east, moving out toward toward the Americas and all over the country and all over the world. We didn't sit still in certain regions. We traveled. Look at your Africans. They don't travel nowhere. The Africans, they stay in their villages. They don't build nothing. Where they got built, look over in their villages and see what they built. You won't find nothing there. Any technology that's there, the white man put that there. So how are we the same people? How did we get to, because we didn't come, we was already in North America before the white man, before the so-called Asians came over here and mixed their seed with us and started calling themselves Indian, and white man called them Indians. We was here before everybody got here because we was traveling through the east, and we came here. We was in North America. We was in South America already. That's how those pyramids got there. Ain't no Mexicans and none of them people built that, and they tell you they self those was already built before they got there. They told you that. The so-called Mexicans or Mayans, whatever you call these people, which are nothing but a bunch of East Indians and Asians mixed. Right? You look at the people on the wall, they got afros on the wall and over there. Brown-skinned people, copper tone. We need to stop with this African nonsense. Because, like I said, there's a reason why the Africans don't stand up for you in the UN. You're not their people. There's a reason why they sold you into slavery. There's a reason why, like I said, Manute Bol and those people don't look like us. They don't relate to you. They'll tell you, I'm no nigga. That's what they'll say to you. There's a reason why they can come and set up, hustle out bags and bags and counterfeit bags of Gucci and Louis. They won't get locked up, but you will. And like I said, for the people who got a problem with that, don't listen. But you can't deny what's being said. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a bunch of ignorant calls tonight from the Pan-Africanists, Negroes who want to push this Pan-African nonsense at black Africa. But, well, if you feel that way, why are you still here in America? Why are you still here wearing a European name? Why are you still doing that? Why are you still wearing a European name, still living in America? If you pro-African, why ain't your woman, you go get you a tribal African woman, what you call the woman who is unmixed, or you black women who claim you want a pure African man? Yeah, go get Manute Bol. How many women was hanging all over him? Or Dikembe Mutombo? Y'all need to knock it off. You understand that? Knock it off. We come from a beautiful people. We come from a beautiful people, and and it's sad when you have to have people sitting up here trying to jock the culture of a people who wanted to have nothing to do with you and still don't want to have nothing to do with you when they come here. They relate more to the white man, right? The white man liked them because they simple-minded, and they don't really pose no threat to the white man. They don't pose no threat to him. They not no builders. He ain't got to worry about them building no societies, no kingdoms, no empires. He ain't got to worry about them coming with no technology. They'll just be happy sitting in their little villages, dancing and playing bongos and jumping around, painting themselves up. Hell, the white man will go over there and do it with them. He does it with them. He go over there, have sex with their women and everything. I seen a documentary on that where they did that and welcome him and everything. But leave them alone. Don't bother them. They took the people who are a threat. If they tell you the Egyptians, if they tell you the ancient Nubians, if they tell you the Sumerians, the people who wasn't running around butt naked, the people that brought fashion and style all over the world, now, that's a problem, because then you start not looking at yourself like these people are better than you. I'm going to take a call. I'm going to take a shot at this. I'm opening up for calls. All right. 724, you're on air.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, hi. My name is Dontavius, and I would just really like to talk about what Russell's My Jimmy's up in Detroit right now.
What's it now?
I'd really like to talk about what Russell's My... Hello?
What's it like up in Detroit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Okay, is this pertaining to the topic?
Yes, sir. What really rustles my jimmies is how these African women be going around naming their kids like little Nakalaka, and they ain't even African.
Mhm.
It's just they born in like Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Just really rustles my jimmies, bro. I just don't understand it.
Well, like I said, that's because our people accepted that they're African. The white man told you he was African, and you believed him. So, like I said, when he tell you African, what happens? You stay in one mindset. You think you come from that one region of a bunch of people that's been dancing around and painting themselves up, and that's the mentality you get. You don't think of yourself, and even though our people sit up here and talking about we the Egyptians and the Kemites and the Nubians, they don't really believe that, because man, you do that, then you marry on the African thing to it. Those two things, those two cultures are two different. Those are two different cultures that don't mesh. You can't put the black, red, and green flag on with no.
Something else that really bothers me is how our people are just ruining Detroit. I just don't understand it.
Well, our people, black people, ruining places everywhere because their mentality's not right.
They burning the whole damn city down, bro.
Yeah, well, their mindset ain't right. That's what happened when you got people whose minds ain't right.
They need to start selling that crack cocaine and all that shit.
Well, like I said, their minds are not right. Then that's what happens when you got people who are on a submental vibe. Their minds are not right. When you promoting the people, again, when you promoting the people that they African, and you point to the Africans and call them savages and show that they never did nothing, but when you tell them people, you promote and raise the people that they came from builders and people who established the first governments and empires on earth, then you probably wouldn't get that dynamic. Okay?
Yes, sir. And I've been observing, I've been living here my whole life. I just don't understand how throughout like 100 years, Detroit is one of the most booming metropolises in the U.S., and then all of a sudden we turn to niggers, and then this town turned to shit.
Yeah, well, like I said, hey, that's the mentality. But thank you, brother, for calling in, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Lewis Hardy, you're on air.
Hello.
Yes.
How are you?
All right. How you doing?
Yeah, I came across your show and I just wanted to have a bit of a chat.
Okay. Well, you have a question?
Yeah. Well, I'm not from America, obviously. I'm from the English.
Okay.
And obviously, black people are quite a big problem in London. I don't know if you've heard.
They're a problem in London, huh?
Yeah. So, but I wanted to ask you first. Like, are you black? Are you black yourself, or are you white?
No, I'm
pure
not.
White?
No, I'm not black or white. I don't
So
answer.
what are you
to
then?
those,
Like yellow?
I don't answer to those terminologies because those are terminologies that come from you white people. We don't answer to those terminologies. That's how y'all do. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a black person or a white person.
Well, there is, because you're either white or you're black.
No, that's not. That's your mentality. Because there's no such thing as a black-skinned people. They're brown people. There's no black-skinned people. You have very, very dark brown, and like you people, you have the reddish, pale complexion.
No, well, I don't understand what. So there's no black people. There's only brown people or pale people.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So, like, what about the people that are actually black? Are they brown?
Well, what is your question? What's your question?
Well, I'm just wondering, like obviously, I wanted to ask whether you were white or black. So I wanted to like know your angle from the show. Do you think they're actually a problem, or do you just want to hear why people think they're a problem?
Well, y'all think it doesn't really matter. Y'all have a problem with anybody who's not like y'all. You have a problem with anybody. You can't really have a problem with whatever people are doing because y'all did the same thing. Whether you were robbing, raping, burning, and pillaging, you all did the same thing as the blacks. So you really not that much different than the blacks. So I don't know where y'all get on this soapbox talking about black people are a problem. If anybody's a problem, y'all all a problem.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're a problem. I wanted to understand whether you thought they were a problem or whether you didn't think they were a problem. That's what I wanted to know. Because obviously, you're saying.
I think the mentality of the human race is a problem. You white people, you black people, I think y'all all a problem.
No, whoa, you just said you white people, you black people. You just told me there's no such thing as white or black people, so why say that?
I'm using your terminology of white and black for what you understand. You Europeans, the Africans, I think y'all all a problem.
I
say that because it's a submental problem. Do I think all so-called European people or white people, as you would term them, are a problem? No, I don't think they all are, but the majority of you people move on a submental vibe, so you're a problem along with the blacks that move on a submental vibe. See, we don't move on that vibration. That's where the problem is. Don't lump people in and say, oh, the blacks are a problem, because y'all cause the same damn problem.
Well, not really.
Y'all went to different areas and caused problems too. You was the hooligans and the thugs and doing all that stuff too. So don't start with this madness about this soapbox superiority about, oh, do you think the blacks are a problem? No more than you are.
Look, bitch, seriously, are you trying to convince us that you're not a nigger or something? I don't understand.
No, you the nigger. Yeah, get off the phone, idiot. There you go. 541.
Hey, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay. So like the last
goodbye. Goodbye. 719.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing tonight?
All right.
I was working on this problem. I think I solved it, man.
Goodbye. Because I feel like it's going to be stupidity. 250.
Hello, my friend.
Goodbye. Got idiot tonight. Got idiot night. All right. 682.
Hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, I calls in and listen in every now and then. This is Kofi, and I absolutely agree with what you said, because when you tell a person that we are not black and white, you know what I'm saying, you put my skin against something black, I am nowhere near that color, that offends them. That gives us authority to let them know that when you see a God, and I'm talking about the God within, you recognize that. If they want to label themselves black nor white, you know what I'm saying, they will carry that to their grave. And those are the people that's going to get left behind, because you can't see in color no more. I'm other. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I'm other. And they can take it how they want to. It's going to be a lot of heat with a bunch of stupid collars tonight.
Oh, well, you know what it is? You know what the problem the white man and even these Negroes have? Because it's the same thing. The white man mad because we not going under what he want to term us black or African, and that makes him feel good. The minute we don't wear that and we don't acknowledge nothing he said, because you white men, you black men who under that mentality is following the white man, y'all don't even matter no more. We go to hell. Nobody care about what y'all think. That's why, like I said, I don't even want to have no conversation with you. You're not on my level.
Absolutely.
So don't even bother to call back here. Like I said, they want to sit up here and talk about, oh, the blacks are a problem. Y'all ain't no more of a problem than y'all are.
The human race is a problem.
Y'all all a damn problem. And when I hope the media showers come and destroy all of y'all. The ones of our people who are going to raise up the bright race, that's who we representing tonight. We representing the bright race, the ones who came from the east, the ones who sat on the thrones in Egypt, the ones that y'all still worship. Those are the people we come from. You want to sit up here and talk about the blacks and the Africans and the European and the white and your black thing, y'all go right on ahead. That's your thing. Don't call here with that stupidity. We're not listening to you. Go somewhere and, don your robe and your hood and go sit on some other guy's lap or something, whatever y'all into.
Yeah, go pray to your Jesus.
Yeah. We don't want your Jesus no more. We don't want to hear your madness. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just tuning in, brother, and I'm going to continue to listen in. If I want to make anything, I'll raise my hand again.
All right, brother. All right. Now, you see, I'm going to show you something. Now, you see, why do they care about this? Why do your white trolls care about this and your black trolls? Why do they care about this topic? Why don't y'all go somewhere? Why are you so concerned about what we talking? Why are you calling in making stupid comments? You have nothing better to do with yourself. This has nothing to do with you. Nobody's concerned about y'all. Go somewhere. You don't have a life. Go somewhere, right? And, work on your white power plan to get rid of the blacks, and the blacks work on their black power plan to get rid of you. We don't have nothing to do with that nonsense. We're dealing with the whole African thing and the development of our people. But notice, like I said, had we been sitting up here talking about black power this and black African this, we wouldn't have got these calls. But the minute we saying we not part of that, it's a problem. Ain't that funny? Yeah. So we're going to try another call. 716.
Yes, hello. How are you doing today?
No. I don't like your tone. You guys that are calling in, like I said, I can already hear the sarcasm in your tone. Not taking your calls. Ain't got time to waste with you. 901.
Yo, what's up, Noah? How you been, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Man, hey, man, this is so wild, man. You know what? Just like you said, man, I'm going to let you read the sarcasm, man, in their voice, man, before they even call. I don't even know what they're trying to play. I don't know what they're playing with. But I'm tripping off, man, how the fact that these white men, these white people, they hate what you're saying more than these Pan-Africanisms, I think, because, like you said, man, you're not following up under the category they're trying to put you under. You see what I'm saying? You're not even trying to subscribe to that nonsense, and they can't stand that. They're like, man, this is the nigga that's the real threat, because that's what they're calling you. I'm not saying that you. I'm saying that's what.
Yeah, I know.
This the nigga that's the real threat, because them other niggas, they just gonna do and talk the same shit they've been talking since the 50s. You know what I mean? And then we still got them. But my question for those cats, man. Well, I'm gonna ask you, because I know you know the answer. Since we, the Nubians, since we left Africa, what the fuck have Africans invented or created?
Nothing. The Africans ain't did a damn thing.
Since we came to America, what happened to America?
Yeah, America blew up since we came here. There wasn't nothing going on here till the black man came here. The white man wasn't doing nothing in America but killing off the Indians and giving them syphilis. That's all he was doing, sleeping with the Indians. Because, like I said, he tried to enslave the Indians, but they knew the land too well. And some of our people were already over here in America, because Columbus, the guy Pedro Negrito, the guy who was with Columbus, one of his navigators, said he saw black people already over here. There was already black people here, and they didn't come here by way of the English and all them. The Abu Bakr, Mansa Musa, all them people been coming here. Those wasn't Africans. Those people, they was already in the Moroccos and then in the Middle East. They wasn't African. They was black people, so-called blacks, but they wasn't of that African stock like your Manute Bowles and them people. Because like I said, those kind of people are not a threat, because they're not going to compete with anything. An ignorant, primitive black man is the best black man they like in America. That's why they promote Lil Wayne and those type of people, because if you notice, those are your New Age Africans, or your New Age with the piercings and the tattoos. So they promote those kind of African Americans, because it puts them in mind of those savage Africans that's painting their damn self up, running around naked, tattooing their self up. That's why they like those kind of people.
Right.
That's why they like those kind of people.
Well, that's crazy, man.
What kills me is, why is it that these people even care to comment or come in here and do this?
Because they're scared. They're scared, man. They're scared.
Well, I'll tell you. The D39. You know why I do that? I drop you the white callers and the ignorant black callers, so don't feel like you left out. I'm responding to somebody in the chat room. It's because y'all usually calling here, and all y'all want to do is call me a nigga or call me some name, or come with your stupidity. Go somewhere with that madness. Nobody's interested. It's not for you. Can you get over the fact that it's just not for you? It's not about you. I know you can't stand the fact that so-called black people are talking and it don't concern you. You understand? If you actually called with a real comment or a real question, and you didn't hide behind D39 or guess this or that, they block your number. Because if you call from a number and we write this number down and you say something smart, you understand? We will, like I said, we will take your number and we will put it in our records, right? For later use. That's the warning. So if you're going to call here, call with a real number. Don't call from 111. Don't call from block numbers, because we're not taking them. So, all right.
I'm just going to fall back and let you do you, Amir.
All right. Thank you, brother.
What's up,
Need our brothers up here. Got the madness going. All right. I'll take one more. Well, I'm going to say a little bit of this. There's, like I said, in the Central Africas, in South America, and North America, is the reason why we all look a certain way, right? We could see ourselves in ancient Egypt. We could see ourselves in the ancient Nubians. We could see ourselves in South America. It's no coincidence. Some of our people, a lot of our people in the Jamaicas and the West Indies and Haiti, you see our people, the ancient Nubians, the Kemites, right? You can see that our people, the first government and land builders, which this country copied off of, and put that eye over the bill and the pyramid, that's our people that put that up. The first illuminaries. They don't like seeing that, right? They'd rather have, like I said, simple-minded black people. If we was talking about bongo night and running around and tiki torches or whatever the hell the Africans do and painting ourselves up, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You know? And talking about white people and black people don't know how to white properly. See all the stupidity, right? Look at all the stupidity. Like I said, look at all the stupidity. All of this here, I'm not even going to respond to the chat room, because the Nubians had to show y'all and the Romans and the Greeks how to wash yourselves. Y'all didn't even know how to wash yourselves. Y'all had so many diseases over in England. It was crazy. The Moors had to come over there and civilize you guys. And the Moors, all them people came from the Middle East. The blacks from the Middle East had to come over there. Y'all had y'all animals eating in the kitchen with y'all. Y'all had more filth and disease over there from your people. But yet the blacks the problem? It's just that mentality to want to scapegoat and blame somebody for your condition, for why things are not going right with you. Because if it was no blacks here, would y'all lives be that much better? I doubt it. Would y'all be the next doctors? You so-called white people that's up here blaming this quote-unquote blacks. And I'm not sticking up for them, but you blaming the blacks for the problem, and you want to get up here and you want to find out from a white man talking against black people so you can bash on blacks and call them niggas and make yourself feel good. But would you be the next doctors, scientists, and all? I doubt it. I doubt it. You'll be somewhere working some go-nowhere job, being a zero, just like the black man being a damn zero, who think he an African. You'll be the same way. You'll be a loser as well. So knock it off. Knock it off. You're not fooling nobody. Stop with the scapegoating. See, we're mentalists. We accentuate the mind and the development of those who are advancing mentally. We don't deal with the racial thing, right? We're talking about a bright race of people who are blackened with this African title, who are blackened with it. And our people don't realize that we tried to wear Africa as a badge of honor, and the Africans don't want you. They don't acknowledge you. They sold you into slavery to the white man. I'm not saying the white man had everything to do with slavery. The Africans helped them, and he also sold y'all to the so-called white Arabs, right? Same people, all together, plotting against people who were not the same as them, right? Same people. Same exact people. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to take another call. Like I said, I know it's ignorant night. 267, you're on the air.
Peace, brother. I go by the name of Universal Moore. What you're saying is very important to me. All this labeling is likened to languages. All of this labeling, black, colored, Negro, African American. First off, when the white caller called in, because we know you white because of how you think, because these blacks and Negroes and colors that you're speaking of, most of them have been indoctrinated too. Just like these Africans from Africa, they have been indoctrinated too. So when they come here, they don't equate themselves with you because they feel as though that they speak the King's English and they're highly prized and favored, and most of the times they are. And it showed to you in your neighborhoods, a lot of urban neighborhoods, that when you go into some stores or some Korean stores or some white stores, the black people that you see, they don't talk like you, they don't act like you, and 9 times out of 10, they don't respect you. And these are the highly malleable ones because they have been propagated to the point where it's easy for them to suck up to the white man and say that, you know, oh, these niggas over here, y'all not really about anything. And, you know, the way the media propagates, how we look to them, how they look to us. You know, it's kind of hard for us to even. It's almost inevitable that it would cause an explosion, because the way we look to them and the way they look to us is like gasoline and matches. You know, so we wouldn't get along. But like you said, bro, as far as that indoctrination, that's part of a language, and if the way you speak is the way you think, the way you think is the way you act. And what you're saying is very important. And when it comes to labels and titles, if it is a label or title that I take on or profess to be, I refuse to let that title define me. Thus, I will define that title. I define that title if I profess it. And a lot of people ain't good blacks, good African Americans. You know, they're taking on these titles, and they really are not good at it. And what we're being showed and what's being propagated is us at our worst, us at our weakest, us at our most docile, and this is what people aspire to, because this is the only way that what we see gets us ahead. So I'm digging what you're saying, good brother, and I can get real deep with it, but I'm just going to hang on in the background if that's all right with you, brother Amir. I'm a first caller to your show, and I'm enjoying what I'm hearing, and I love the way you chopping them heads off.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. For these people out here who going around and they using this as a black fest to come in here and talking about blacks are criminals and blacks did this. Oh, there's no white criminals, right? No, there's no white criminals. No, y'all didn't go and take people's land. You didn't go and poison people with kind of syphilis and all the diseases you brought from Europe. No, you didn't do that. You didn't steal land from people. You didn't rob people. You didn't bring the guns into existence to kill people. No, you didn't do that, right? No, that's called patriotism when y'all did it, right? When you was being criminals, right? But now all of a sudden the blacks are the problem. The blacks are the criminals, right? The blacks are the problem. You know, they committing all the crime. No, I know, right? The jails wasn't filled up with white criminals in this country back in the 40s, the 20s, the 30s, and for most of this time here, all the way up to the 50s and the 60s, the jails was filled up with blacks, right? Or was they filled up with whites? In England, what was the jail filled up with? Whites. Matter of fact, the founding father, most of the people that came over here to America from England were criminals. That they're undesirable. They emptied the jails out and let them out. But the blacks are the source of the problem, right? These blacks that were sitting in Africa minding their business that you decide to go and get and bring over here, now they the problem. You didn't start the criminal act going, right? How you take countries and how you put people, kill off people and population, take control, that's criminal. And if you got a country still going and you riding on that, that's a continuing criminal enterprise that you've erected. So let's not get crazy with the criminal title here, because y'all wore it for a long time before. And like I said, this is not sticking up for the black or the white, because y'all both bad. Y'all both been bad people. You both been submental people. Both races, black, white, yellow, the whole damn human race. So they can't say Nuben Menkares, because they want to, they want to bash blacks tonight and call them criminals, because it makes you feel good because your life is garbage. It makes you feel good because your life is garbage. Because you sitting somewhere probably barely finished high school, halfway illiterate. That go for you blacks and you whites and all you people who think it's a racial thing. Because like I said, it has nothing to do with you. But you take your time out to come in here and raise hell with your madness about blacks are the problem, this is the problem. It's always some problem. You should have helped Marcus Garvey get blacks the hell up out of here in America if you didn't like blacks. Why didn't you help him? Why'd you cut him off the kneecaps when he wanted to take black people out of America? Black people could have went back to Africa or went into Africa. You understand? Because the majority of our people didn't come out of there anyway. But you left them here. You left them here. Right? To fill up your prisons and whatnot, when you cut off jobs and people can't make ways to live and whatnot, you cut off their ankles and whatnot. So then they end up in your prison system and we create more jobs for you. But that's what happens when you tell people they're African and they accept that madness. Right? Even now, you still want to keep that master-slave paradigm going. Why would you call in here and care about what we're discussing about black people? That's none of your business. Right? Don't you have a life? But they can't stand it when you break away from those African and American titles and whatnot. You don't identify yourself with that, nor do you want to wear their names anymore. You want to think for yourself. That's a problem. That's a problem. I'm going to take another call. 647.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
I was thinking of a lot of things you've been saying these past couple minutes, and it reminded me of something that Martin Luther King once said. He said, Sorry?
Go ahead.
Now, as Martin Luther King once said, you have no reason to light a nightlight on a light night like tonight.
Okay, goodbye. That's, you know what? And that's sad. That's sad. You people that are calling in here, you are an embarrassment to the human race, to the white race. You an embarrassment. That's the best you could do for something stupid. But that's your mentality. Of course, that's because you think the blacks are the problem. No, you calling in here and you expressing your ignorant opinions. That shows where the real problem lies. It's in your damn head. Your submentals. And the world would be better off without people like you and the ignorant blacks and all the people who vibrate on that submental frequency. You and your former slaves could go to hell. That's our message for tonight. So if you think I sound like Martin Luther King, you got the wrong thing. I'm not sounding like a militant neither, because I'm not for the black race or the white race. Not for the yellow race, not for the mixed race, but how it works in your little small mind, your little small, convoluted, submental way of thinking. I'm for the bright race, the intelligent ones. Right? I'm going to play a little bit of music. We'll be right back. Hopefully it'll give me time to clear the idiots out. There's a lot of idiots here tonight, you know. We have nothing else better to do. So what do I want to play? You're not the only one by Aya. We'll be right back. You know, I don't have anything against white people. I don't have anything against black people. I don't have anything against anybody. What I do hate is ignorant people. That's the problem I have. I hate ignorant people, and I hate liars, and I hate cowards. I hate liars, ignorant, and cowardly people. I stand up on everything I say. I'm a mentalist, not a racist. I don't hate anybody for the color of their skin. I don't hate anybody for, you know, what they think of me. You entitled to your opinion. But at least be smart about it. Don't say nothing stupid or something that you think only applies to other people when it damn sure apply to you, because you're some of the first people that were doing it. When we're talking about the African thing, right? When we're talking about a people who, for factually, our people, the majority of our people here in the North Americas, South Americas, Central Americas, the islands, most of our people, we have a lot of us tend to have an O blood type. Your Africans have a B blood type. Your Africans are heavy beef eaters. Our diet's not even the same. They heavy pork and beef eaters, unless they got converted to Islam. They drink milk, whole milk, goat, cow, whatever. We're lactose intolerant. Different people, different set of circumstances under which we were raised. It begins to make a lot of sense, right, when we start to look at who we really are as a people. It's funny to me, and it's very telling when so many people want to come in here, white, which I don't understand what white callers will, you know, if they're not going to come in here and say anything intelligent or why they even care. Have such a hand in defining who we are. Why do you care? Could it be that you just don't want the so-called black people here in America to get from up under that mindset of being African that you put on us, or whatever, that African American or whatever title, you don't want us to think for ourselves? You know, when people like Dr. York and even Spike Lee, they was trying to put up they was trying to use the title Nubian at one time. Notice how that got shot down? Nobody really pushed the Nubian American. I could have seen that a little bit more, even though that's a little outdated. It came from the New Boon people, but you know that Nubian got extended by the white man too. But it came from the Anu or the New people, which was our people in the East, or what they call the Middle East today. Our people are still there, right? They don't want you to think of anything of any real intelligence, right? Because notice your Bible came out of that region, or your biblical stories, your biblical history, your culture pretty much came out of what they call the Middle East, right? And they tell you really nothing of any real importance happened in Africa. But what they don't tell you is the people that made the culture come, the government, the societies, the movements come out, the religious belief, all that came out of the East was our people. Our people did that. Our people. Not the Africans. Our people. Our people are responsible for this forward move in civilization, but they don't want to promote that. They don't want to promote that because then you can't have that inferior, superior paradigm going on. They still won't admit that we was the ancient Egyptians. They won't admit that. Black people you got black women with damn braids in their hair. You see women with braids and weaves and afros and whatnot. You know that's our women. Black men with round faces, big lips and whatnot. Oh, they ain't black. Not to mention the faces they painted over to make them lighter or white looking or make them Indian, East Indian, anything but who they are, so-called black people. Or we refer to as the bright race, the solar intelligent people, the people who were the first people to set up the governments on earth. They don't want to hear that, right? No, you could be African, though. You could walk around with kente cloth on and beat on drums and talk about these people are your people. Because those people are not thinking people. They're traditional, tribal people, cultural people. Cultural people, traditional, tribal people, and usually not thinking people. Those are not forward-moving people. Those are people who are stuck in a certain mind frame and a traditional mindset, like black people who have gotten stuck here in America, where we're not forward thinkers anymore. We get stuck in a certain custom or tradition or whatever, and we don't know how to move on. We get stuck in Africa, Egypt, Moorish science, all this stuff, and we don't know how to move on. We think it's the end-all, be-all, and we don't understand that we're supposed to be evolving mentally. We're supposed to be forward-moving people, forward-thinking people, not a people that's stuck in a tradition or in a culture. Our people understood that before. That's why we were able to get up and go to different places and build empires and kingdoms as the Mende people who they falsely called the Olmecs. That was our people, because you could tell the traits of our people. You can tell the food that our people eat. I said the fish and the birds are native to the diet of our people and the greens. Now you look at black people, we eat chicken and fish. They always make fun of how we like chicken and fish. That's in our people. The Africans was eating beef, and they still eat beef and heavy blood and starch and yams, and you could go to an African restaurant and see our diet is not even the same. Their skin complexion is different from ours. They have a more coarse hair, different blood type. They don't acknowledge you as their people. It's too much evidence to prove that. We have to start finding out the identity of who we are so that we can move forward as a people. Because people always sit up here talking about, oh, if you don't know who you are, then you're not going to move forward. Well, hell, we sitting around here calling ourselves African. That ain't going to help us move forward, because Africa is not no country. It's a continent, a quote-unquote continent now with all these different countries within it. So which one do you choose from? Don't come with this nonsense about, oh, it was called ᴄᴟ before then and what. Come on, man. No, it wasn't. They need to stop telling that lie. I don't care if it's Dr. Ben. I don't care if it's whoever it is telling that lie about some ᴄᴟ. No black people got together and named no continent or no place Africa and agreed to call themselves Africans. The Romans did that. The white Romans did that because they were colonizing the place. And that's the truth. We didn't have nothing to do with that anyway. We was already in the East. We were already in the Americas. We were already building and colonizing and doing things in the South. South America, where you see those mirrors and things like that, which are bigger than the ones in Egypt. All of a sudden you think those Mexicans and all of them built that? They told you in their Mayan thing, in their Mayan writings, that stuff was already there before they got there. I'm going to take a call. 716.
Hi, how you doing, brother?
All right, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. A lot of things that you're saying that they really speak to me. They really speak out to me, and I think I say that for a lot of people. If you know what I'm saying. Basically, what you're saying is like the cheese topping on the pizza. It's true. It's spoken out, and a lot of people recognize that. And although a lot of people don't, I think the majority of us really understand what you're going with.
Okay.
Well, basically, I just have one more input. But basically, what my grandpappy used to say is back in the day. You know, I
Okay. Well, we lost your call. Whatever your grandfather was going to say, thank you. We lost your call. 909.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, caught me off guard a little bit. I've been listening in for a few minutes. I'm not black. I'm Mexican. But right now you just kind of blew me away with this, what you just said about the Olmecs.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard that before. I have never heard that connection before, like with Olmecs and black people. I mean, I trace my roots to the state of Veracruz. You know what I mean? It just, I just never heard that before. Yeah.
Okay, but look at the Olmec statues in the heads. You mean you could look at those noses and those lips, and you mean to tell me that those are not black people?
Oh no, definitely. I totally agree with you. It doesn't look like Mexicans even, but I mean, just by the facial features, is that your only the only thing you're going up for? Like,
well, that's all that's needed, because black people have our people have a distinguishing facial feature from everybody. We don't look like white people. We don't look like nobody else here. We got the big lips. We got the round face. We got the woolly hair. We don't look like nobody else.
Yeah, true. That's true, but I mean,
that's all you need.
You and I are not archaeologists and or historians. We don't know where they came from. You know what I mean?
Well, then you would know where they came from, because you look at how they built. You look at the Egyptians. They've already proven that the Olmecs could be traced back to the Egyptians and how they built in a certain style of the pyramid landscape. And you already know, and we've already established that these were black people, so-called quote unquote black people. They didn't come out of Africa, because the Africans wasn't doing no building. They didn't build like that.
That's true. That's true. I agree with you on the whole pyramids thing, but also you can trace the pyramids like all throughout the world. They all look similar. I mean, I highly doubted that black people went all over the world building pyramids.
Black people was all over the world. Listen, black people was all over the world before the white man. Black people was living in Europe before white people. Black people was everywhere on the damn planet. Black people left from the Middle East, and we went into North America. They found our people in North America before the white man came, before the so-called Indians came, and they crossed the Bering Straits under a man named Hushin, and they mixed in with the Olmecs, who was already on this side already. Don't believe that. See, you know why you got a problem with that? Because you believe we Africans. And you know Africans would be in a no. I'm gonna say this. Why people have a problem with that? I'm not. People have a problem with that because once you call you name a people after a landmass, you tend to think that those people's lives are circled around that landmass. But for the most part, the Africans were. Those Africans in that region were. But you had the blacks who were in the Middle East, the so-called black people who were in the Middle East, who were in Egypt and were in Nubia and Ethiopia and all over the place of the Middle East, which is occupied by your Arabs, who were not the original peoples of that land. They were moving out from all over those places.
True, I guess. But I guess I'll agree to disagree with your theory on the Olmecs, but what I was really wanted to...
But you just said, wait a minute, hold on, stop. You said you disagree. It's not my theory. You just said you agreed that they got the features of black people. Those are black people.
Yeah, I said I'll agree to disagree on your theory about it, but...
That's not a theory. If they are black, I'm saying, if we looking at a people and you looking and you know they don't have your features, you know that these people are dark-skinned with big lips and broad noses and whatnot and round faces. You can't look at them and say those are your people, and you acknowledge them as black people. Then that's not a theory anymore. It's a fact.
No, show me your facts.
That's the fact right there. You're looking at the facts.
So facial features are the facts?
Facial features are the facts.
That's
if I take a picture, that's like saying if I take a picture of you and I say, okay, that's a Mexican guy, right, based on the features of the picture in the picture, and then you come along and say, oh, that's not a fact. But we looking at the same picture, and obviously it don't look like nobody else.
I don't think that's a good argument, because this is why. Because I mean, you're just going by the facial features. You're not for certain, to 100% that it was black people in the ancient times.
Well, who else is it? If nobody else. Well, wait a minute. Nobody else looks like that. So what are we to deduce? Who else are those people? Who else got those broad noses? Do you got a nose like that?
No. But my point is,
you don't have a nose like that. Do you have big lips like that? Because the majority of your so-called human family, your whites, your Mexicans, y'all don't even have lips. Y'all have like little slits in your face. Y'all don't even have lips. White people don't barely have lips. So if you got people with lips like that, and you can see the afros under the crowns on some of them, and whatnot, where they didn't even have any helmets on, those were black people. You just don't want to say it because you got this mentality like you believe that you came from the Olmecs. So people won't look at the physical features of something. Archaeologists, Archaeologists go on blood findings. They go on DNA. They go on facial features of the people. The first thing they look at before they even start digging in the ground, they looking for statues. They looking for artifacts. That's the first thing they look for before they even start digging in the ground for anything.
I'm not disagreeing with you on the fact that the Olmecs don't look like the typical Mexican, but I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, then they look more like black people. They were black people. I'm not sure they were, and just like I'm not sure they were, you're not sure they were, because
I'm very sure they were. Because why would they leave those? Why was there no Mexican? Wait a minute. And so if the features on those people look like Mexican, right, or look like had y'all look, then I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be having this disagreement right now.
Have you ever?
You wouldn't have no problem believing that they were Mexican.
Have you ever seen a typical Mexican from the state of Oaxaca? A native Oaxacan. They look like that, like the Olmecs.
Okay, well, you got certain black people that are amongst Mexicans. You got, wait a minute. I agree with you on that. You got certain black people that they don't show you in Mexico because they did show you the documentary. You have black people with afros, with Mexican, and those are the Mexicans there. They don't show you those people in Mexico. You got black people in Mexico. Our people been there.
Right, the descendants of the natives, they have similar features to the Olmecs, but like I said, I'm not for sure certain who the Olmecs were, so I'm not going to say it was the Oaxacans, or I'm not going to say it was the black people, because I don't know.
Oh, okay. Nobody knows. Like I said, them big lips, them big noses and whatnot. Just like the Sphinx, the Egyptians. White man said the same thing. The Egyptians wasn't black. Here it is. You got women with afros. You got women with cornrows and things like that. But those was white people. Those was East Indians. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. All right.
Unbelievable. 757.
Boy, I love these shows, boy, because I get to bust my gut when when you have these joints where the chaos just comes out of nowhere, son. Like, ain't nobody gonna use their mind on that.
Because you know what it is? It's even permeated the minds of, and I'm not calling the last guy that called a racist. I'm not calling you that. But see, that's what happens when you allow people who not you to define who you are just by calling us Africans. And they already got this mentality of what the Africans are in this society. Bunch of people since the 1900s, as soon as they could make damn film, they showed the Africans beating on drums, being savages, attacking white women, and all that madness that they made up, right? So they showed that propaganda. So already in their mind, that's what Africans are. So then when they call you African American, they saying that is a whole race of people. That's why like the white people calling people this madness, and in the chat room talking about blacks are the criminals and we the criminals and this, that, and the third, because that goes all the way back to that African thing of they savages and whatnot. They're not going to look at you as the land builders and the people that set the first government up, because that's not in their mind to accept, because then that means that takes down that whole superior, inferior mindset. It takes it down quite a few pegs. As a matter of fact, it collapses it.
You're right, because right now, when they start seeing the people start having self-determination for themselves, that is intimidating to them. You know what I'm saying? You're 100% right. When you have a population of millions of people, a copper tone that are followers, that listen to everything that every other race tell them. Once you get to a point that right now when you start saying, hold on, let me tell you who I am. You know what I'm saying? The end of the BS. You know what I'm saying? We're going to use a little intelligence here. Let me start telling you who I am. And they get offended because they already telling a million other people that is accepting what they're telling who it is. So that's why you got, you know what I'm saying, the Albions and them, you know what I'm saying, calling in, acting stupid. And then, you know, for the last brother that called in about the Olmecs, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times, like, if you start giving them information pertaining to that, it hurts them also because it starts uprooting the fact that they're used to either white people telling them who was in Mexico, you know what I'm saying, or like when you start telling them, all right, let's look at the Olmecs. Not even, we can go past the face, you know what I'm saying. I know y'all was going in on the facial features, but my end-up research was that, you know what I'm saying, that was actually our language. When you study the language, and the brother had did the demanding correlation to the language that was on the Toltec poles. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the Mexicans don't want to acknowledge or even go in on a deciphering of the language. Then you have the culture, which was also documented also, which rubber, different types of leopard skin, different things that is accustomed to our culture or our way of living was laid down in Mexico, so forth. People don't want to acknowledge those things, don't want to acknowledge the artifacts. No one wants to acknowledge it unless it's coming from white people because they're not used to any copper tone people. Like the dude said, you know, archaeologists, they're not used to any copper tone archaeologists. They're not used to any historian copper tone people. So, you know, to be in 2013 and have somebody come up and all of a sudden tell them that, it's like it's already a preconception that I can't know what you're saying because they didn't say it. You can't say it. In their minds, mentally, intellectually, they're insinuating that you can't say it because the media didn't say it.
Oh, yeah, the white man didn't say it. The white man didn't say it, so, you know, I'm wrong. I never heard that before. Okay, so because you never heard it before, I can't see it. So, in other words, if the white man puts it in the article tomorrow, then you'll accept it. He don't really have to put no research. He can say, oh, yeah, you know, we found out. Even though he's not going to do that. But, you know, you can see that. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's such thing as seeing things, and, you know, based on what we see, it's like if I see a red building, you see a red building, we go, that's a red building, we nobody, and some idiot come along and say, oh, no, that's blue. You know?
Right.
We both know what we looking at. You know, we looking at, oh, he goes, oh, they got black features there. I can see that they got black features, but I can't believe they black. What?
Right.
That's like I told you. That's that white mentality. That's the that and I'm not I'm not even gonna call it the white mentality. I'm gonna call it ignorant mentality. I'm not disrespecting the guy that called, but that's that mentality. Whereas I just can't believe no blacks built that. I always thought we did it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
That's the mentality.
Always thought. Right. You know, and again, in their history or so forth, again. They didn't come up with the research again. They waited until somebody else told them who they were. Now there's about 40 or 50 pictures of the Olmecs. You know what I'm saying? Not 3 or 4, not the basic 3 or 4 that they see. It's like 40 or 50 of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, after you get 40 heads, you know what I'm saying? Genetically, you got to sit there and say, all right, come on, man. You know what I mean? But you know, that's just part of it because it's a whole slew of millions of people that's in denial, and that's going to be what they call going against the grain from here on out because the fact of denial. Now, when you get to the part of I want to go on the African part because I inboxed you on the African thing. You know what I'm saying, with the AFR. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. People really don't look at etymology and stuff or words and so forth. And, you know, the word African ain't in no other country. You know what I'm saying? People don't realize things like, it's not in no other country besides after colonialism. And then our people still in denial of that. All right, so you can't say that any Asians or any people in Australia got the word Africa in Australia, but we all know that our copper tone people was already there. Why is that? Why is it the word does not go further back towards the people? People are ignorant, man. It's so. Ignorant as far as ignore the facts. That look, man, the word. Remember, I hit you up and I said, you know what I'm saying? Normally, it's the deity or your creator that comes first and denotes a people. You know what I'm saying? There's no AFR God. You know what I'm saying? That's no. You know what I'm saying? That's no different than JES and Jesus. It's the same crap that comes later. You know what I'm saying? And people don't want to acknowledge that there's no that is something that doesn't have any etymology significance to a bloodline of people that's always been on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Or preceded certain type of people. And the third thing is that another thing. I'm gonna go to modern times. Modern times, integration. You know what I'm saying? And me and you both can go on this. How many Africans do you see come over here and marry African Americans?
You don't.
Come on, man.
You don't.
Come on,
you don't.
man. This is what I'm talking about.
Hey, what I said in the thing, I said all these black women over here talking about, ain't no good black men here. I said, well, you got a whole continent. You know, if you claim you African, you got a whole continent full of so-called Africans. Go over there and marry one of them. You know?
They ain't gonna marry you. They ain't gonna marry
how
you.
Many? How many you see him with Manute Bol or Dikembe Mutombo? How many of y'all? I'm gonna holler at Manute Bol or Dikembe Mutombo. You know what I mean?
Right.
They ain't doing that. They ain't checking for them.
They're not.
They ain't checking, and they don't want you.
They don't want you either. They don't want you either. And the whole thing, they only over here to do your hair and sell you DVDs and CDs. That's the only interaction that you got. Any Africans and African Americans, they own it. They got banks. They got all types of businesses in Nigeria. Why they ain't got no franchise Nigerian business and collab with African Americans? Look, let me tell you something, man. It boils down to this. It boils down to the blood. And I'm going to tell you, your blood knows before anything else knows whether or not you two are in commonality. You know what I'm saying? You ain't mixing because you ain't the same. It just is by nature. If it's not something that naturally draws you together, you know what I'm saying? If it doesn't naturally draw you together, not off of hypnosis, not off of schooling, not off of education, just something that naturally draws you together. If it don't happen naturally, people, it ain't real because your blood is not going for it. Your blood is not mixing in with something that is not. It's only going to continue to mix in with what it is. You know what I'm saying? Naturally. You know what I'm saying? Not weak-hearted, not, like you said, low-grade, low-vibrational. Our people over here in our bloodline, our blood knows it's other blood, point blank. It ain't
exactly.
It ain't gonna do nothing else. So all of the, people trying to hold on to a title it's just going to keep you in confusion because there's no African coming to save you. Like it ain't no Jesus, there ain't no African going to save you. And the whole thing legally, INS and the government, they use African American only because it denotes a caste system, system, and they won't allow you to call yourself who you are because on legal documentation, if they say me or you is bleeding on the side of the street, it's required that the police or the paramedics is going to say black or African American. Even if I change my status and tell them and say Nubian, it's already required by law that they consider you that because it's a caste system that they have in place. And people really it's more dynamics than people that's using their brains for, man. You know what I'm saying? And it don't take long to sit back and meditate on this and think about how this shit is set up. You know what I'm saying? Just sit back for a minute and understand they're not allowing you to change the legal documents to call you who you say you are because they're the ones. You're not going to them and say, I'm this. They're saying who you are. And until you get to a point of saying, no, did I call myself African? Did I come out? Do I even know what the hell that means? Is there an etymology breakdown on that word? No, it's not. It's not. So how can you define your whole family bloodline as something that doesn't denote you? Now, there is some common cultural things, but again, the blood denotes who you are. And naturally, we over here mixing with each other. We're not going over there boatloading in African women or African men to mix in, man. And, when, like you said, ain't nobody marrying, ain't no 10 or 15, 20 minute bows running up on no sister talking about, give me your hand. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Nope. So they got to cut that crap out, man.
Yeah. Like I said, like I said, yeah, I'm gonna break down where the Africans really come from, because they're just an artificial output of the almond beings. They were the first people in creation, but the new people, or what they end up calling the Nubian people from the east, the ones who started building, those are the descendants of the ascendants, or the new people, or the people that came from the primordial abyss or coming from outside of the universe. They built, or they made, an artificial version of themselves. And they used the reptilian DNA to do it. This is where your Africans come from. We're going to talk about that in a second. That's where your Africans come from.
That's where they come from, and the whole thing is that, again, if you do like, have you ever been in school or anywhere, like, and you start, okay, we just look at the mentality, and you start dealing with the mental state of our people and the creativity versus somebody from, of course, what they want to call, a.k.a. misnomer, Africa, whatever. It's not even the same way that we process things mentally. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me show you something even. Let me show you something even deeper with this word African. Somebody just said in the chat room that different tribes don't like each other. Okay, the different tribes don't like each other, right? So he said the African different tribes don't like each other. Okay, so if the African different tribes don't like each other and they was always at war with each other, when did they all sit down and decide to call themselves African?
Right.
When did they all decide to sit down and call themselves African, and what language did they pick it from? So I'm waiting for you Negroes to tell that lie that they all got together like you Pan-African cats get together and tell that lie that they, when you know the white man just said y'all all African. That's how that happened.
But it's not a
y'all
word African. It's not a word African in any. Okay, like you said, some of the posts of cats kind of, they try to bridge together certain parts of words and so forth. It's not a language that the word African comes from. You know what I'm saying? It's something new and it's modern. And see, this is what happened when people get conquered. See, they lose their mind, bruh. See, one part of being conquered, and you can watch movies. You can watch the werewolf movie. I can't think of the werewolf movie with the lichens and all of that. But they talk about memory and the blood. You know what I'm saying? It's talking about memory and the blood. And once people get conquered, man, I'm telling you, their memories get erased. It's like you run a magnet.
Underworld? The name of the movie is Underworld?
Underworld. The movie Underworld is a prime example of our people, because in the Underworld, they had to bite somebody in order to get the memory of who their ancestors was, because the modern people, the modern vampires, and the modern werewolves did not know unless somebody came through biting and gave them the memory. See, this is the part, like you said, mind and memory go hand in hand, and our people's got a default, a glitch in their memory. That's why they don't know anything about the Twa people or the Anu people. They don't know anything about that because somebody has already erased their memory. You know what I'm saying? And then they can only go back.
Yeah, they said y'all all African. That's how they did that, and black people accepted it. So
right,
that's how that works.
Right, and the whole thing. But what they would do is they would spend all night arguing with us and going back and forth. But he just told you it, and you just went along and started signing shit, writing your name, saying you African. You don't even know. So why is it that somebody can conquer you? If somebody can conquer you, then they have the right to tell you who you are at that particular point. And that's a sad thing for brothers and sisters, because it's supposed to be some type of interaction through, like you said, a mental reservoir, or, you know what I'm saying, to let you know who you are. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be looking at the fact that, yo, look, I got conquered, and I'm just going to go along with it because, you know, that's the way it is, and everybody else. And see, you got the other thing, too, the monkey see, monkey do syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Once enough monkeys start doing it, then the rest of the monkeys, even though they know they're not a monkey, they start doing it either. They start clucking also. You know what I'm saying? So you got both of those factors that tie in, is that people know that they're not one thing, but because people around them that's been conquered say, yeah, this is what you are, Johnny. And whoever say this is what you are, Bob, you want to get that money, you know what I'm saying? You better say, this is how they start going along, and they start getting pushed down on the children and on the women, and people don't really care. At the end of the day, they don't care about the truth. You know what I'm saying? Even though you say, yeah.
No, they don't. They care about they want to uphold that African thing because, like I said, they didn't want to feel left out because the white man called himself a European, the Chinese man called himself an Asian, so the black man wanted to have an African thing, so he didn't want to feel left out of being identified. But the problem is, you let these people identify you, you let these people tell you who you were, you let these people you got yet the black man still walking around here in America with European names and white people names and whatnot, and they walking around with dashikis on, and they trying to connect themselves to these people in Africa, and these people not dealing with you. They don't want to have nothing to do with you. Like I said, majority of them got that mindset over there. Like I said, some of our people are amongst the Africans, but the rest of them, like I said, that's But listen, brother, let me take the rest of these calls.
Yeah. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me say this last fact, bro. Last fact. In the Tamaran tombs in Egypt, they separated all the races right there. They showed you right there that it was Nubians, and they showed you Africans. People need to do their research, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they showed that. Yeah,
they showed it. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it, bro.
Thank you.
No doubt.
Yeah. And that tomb they showed where the Nubians had the Africans in slavery, they had the white man in slavery, and they had the Asiatics in slavery, the Asians. They had them in slavery. Those were the original slave masters, the ancient Nubians, our people. So we're not saying it was right, but hey, it's what it is. 914, you on the air?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Amir?
How you doing, brother? Brother Cartel Menquest, what's up, brother?
Yes. It's a great broadcast tonight. I'm loving it. You got these demons in here, and they hating. I'm feeling the vibe right now. I just wanted you to touch more on the fact that the Africans are basically another creation, because that was actually my original question, and what you had already said it, whatever, when you was talking to my brother last, and it just amazes me because the characteristics in the original, in the white man or whatever, which was a slave, and he was basically, his characteristics, word for work, you can see also the same characteristics in the African, because they work hard too. They work just as hard as the white man,
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want you to touch deeper on that, that subject of them being a creation.
All right. Well, here's the thing with your Africans, your tribal or your original Africans, because everybody keeps saying life started in Africa, and that is true to an extent. To an extent. Now, your Africans are the physical output or the first creation of those omni beings, those Amen beings who created this planet, who created or came down in physical form and started the genetic splicing, when they mixed their genetic with the reptilians that was in the DNA of the reptilians that was still on the planet. Because, like I said, they were the first ones to do the genetic splicing, the ones who created this planet. Same way your scientists do genetic splicing and gene manipulation. Yeah, people that you refer to as the creators or God or whatever you refer to it as, I don't care what doctrine or belief or theology you coming from, these gods or these supreme beings did the same thing in creating man. Goes right back to the ancient Sumerian story of the first slaves that were created. The first slaves that were created in their image and after their likeness was the Africans. Yeah, Africans were created from the Amen beings who look like black people with woolly hair, had men and women, came here. That's where your story of the 200 fallen angels, which is not from the Bible, it came going back to your Sumerian story, where it talked about these beings or these advanced beings coming to Earth after they sent the meteor showers to kill off the dinosaurs, and they created a different or a different type of man in their image and after their likeness who would work. And they used the reptilian DNA along with a piece of their DNA to create the first man. That's how your Africans came about. And they spread out onto the planet. And some of the women, as they started to evolve, they went in unto those women having sexual intercourse with those women. And this is where the population started to spread at.
All right. So, yeah, that makes more sense. That makes exactly more sense. See, and it's like, this is just logic, you know. I get this, you know. It just makes sense. So the other guy who called in, like the Mexican guy, I don't understand what his argument was. He didn't have no argument, you know, or he was just going to, I agree, but I disagree. And it's like, for what? All you doing is just causing confusion. This isn't for you. You know, if you don't understand, then go away.
Man, well, like I said, it's you know what it is. Like I said, he not used to hearing that. In other words, they come from the white man. He's not used to hearing it in popular culture. He used to black people just being African, and that's it. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. Our people keep that lie going because, like I said, once you marginalize your people off into a certain section, they're no longer universal people. You'll never see the white man do that. He'll tell you he's an African. He'll tell you he's European. He'll be an Asian. He'll be all over the planet. He don't lock himself down to one thing. He'll be all over the planet. Right? He'll call himself a South African, Afrikaner, whatever. He'll call himself all these things and whatnot because to denote that he's every place. Black man, you African. You know, and you're going to just deny that our people went all over the planet. Our people been going traveling all over the planet since the planet was walkable for man and whatnot. Before the land masses started to break apart, when it was a Pangea and there was one land mass, our people walked all over the damn place and traveled every place.
You know,
the Africans, they didn't go nowhere. They pretty much stayed in their little villages and they things like that. They didn't really go nowhere. But the ancient Nubian or the new people, or the ones who are the descendants of the almond beings, those ones who created this planet and created man in their image and after their likeness, they traveled everywhere and built government.
And you know, and that's one thing he wasn't looking at either. He wasn't looking at the globe and the climate of the earth at the time. He's sitting there, he's thinking like, 2013, and back when the colonists, they were sailing on the Mayflower and whatnot, coming over to this country, whatever. He's thinking like that. He's not thinking that everything was just together. Back when we were running things, whatever, everything was together before it broke apart. So, you know, it was easier to travel. You didn't need boats. You didn't need, 6 years traveling on a boat to a different country. You didn't need that. You just, get there, just walking,
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. All right, brother. Let me take the rest of these calls. Calls.
Have a good night, brother.
You too, brother. Thanks for calling in, brother. Cartel Main Quiet State of Mental. All right. Let me get another call in. 510. You on the air, brother Reginald. 510.
Hey, dude.
Hey.
Hey, it's a great show. Once again, great show. Hey, so I just want to make a quick comment about, it was the Mexican brother that called in.
Uh-huh.
All we have to do is just use logic on the subject, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously, if you think about it, the monumental period for our people, those monuments were not only placed there to extract power from the universe, as they say, they were also there to say, we were here.
Well, wherever our people went on the planet, we always left pictures, statues.
Exactly.
That's another thing that denoted our people. We always left, and you see black people today, we stay taking pictures.
Yeah.
We take pictures of everything. That's in our blood to take pictures. They talking about the Asians. Hell, that's in our blood to take pictures. Every time something going, we got our cell phone out, our camera phone out. So that's just the same mindset of capturing an image that we was doing back then. In Egypt, in North America, South America, the Olmec statues, everything we did, we captured the image on. You could find our people everywhere, so much so that a lot of these people that came over and conquered, they broke up the statues or took them and hid them places because they didn't want you to know that. And I'm gonna just say it just like this: the Mexican guy that called in, the reason why he having a problem with it is because they don't look like him. That's the really you can't really deal with logic when people are not really dealing with logic when it comes to you. So don't even bother to explain things logically to people because they going off of prejudicial mindset. In other words, if The Olmec statues was more, the lips was more thinner, and the face was more looking like slanted eyes and looked more fat or whatever, like the Mexican face. We wouldn't have had this argument. He was like, oh, they're Mexican. Look at the faces. But because they look unmistakably like black people face, like Negro, so-called Negro faces. Oh, now I can't see that, or oh, we don't know that for a fact. That's the same thing the white man did with the Egyptians. Here it is. These women got afros on their damn head, but we don't know if they black.
Yeah,
you didn't say that. They didn't say that. They didn't say that when they looked at them Greek and Roman statues, and the Greek and Romans that had straight hair and had little penises. They already knew they was white. Ain't nobody questioned that. They're white, of course. They're white men. They went by the statues. Minute we show you a black one with an afro, all of a sudden she Asian, she anything but black.
Mm-hmm.
Or those pharaohs over there, they not black. They look like they something else. With those big lips and whatnot, and them eyes and whatnot, and them high cheekbones.
It seemed like they left that here for when it was time for our people in the future to wake up. You know what I'm saying? We would have things that we could associate with our people. You know, it just seems like that even being mummified, you know, they were able to open the mummies and look at the DNA and tell that these were a different creation of people. You know what I'm saying? It's different, and they, you know, I really think that they left that stuff here, or they built it in the monumental period for when it was time for us to remember, or time for us to wake up, or, you know, just to identify with who we really are. You know, that might be it. That might be it.
Yeah, that was left for us.
He don't know no better. He don't know no better because he's just going off of what he was taught. You know, and that's a straight up European mindset, saying that the Mayans were anything but so-called black. You know, these people were the only people to build pyramids on the planet.
No, they said the Olmecs, because the Mayans never said that they
the Mayans never said it.
They said that was already there.
It was already there.
When they came and they lived there. They said that stuff was already there.
That's right. They told the truth.
Yeah. Now, everybody, oh no, well, it could have been black people and whatnot. A lot of that stuff that was over here, and a lot of that stuff was being built simultaneously before the whole Jesus Christ era started. These people, the Olmecs was already over here building that when it was simultaneously being built in Egypt. They was already moving out, building pyramids other places.
That's right.
So, you know, people need to learn their history before they sit up here. And like I said, yes, we are here in the North Americas, the so-called black man and black woman in the North Americas, South America, Central America. You are their descendants. In Europe, a lot of y'all in Europe are the descendants. You see our people everywhere. We are those descendants of those people who came out of the Middle East, north of Africa, not Africa, north of Africa.
That's right. It's just too much. It's too much evidence to prove this. Prove the facts, you know what I mean? There's no room for plausible deniability. It's just not anymore.
Yeah, well, that African vibration is heavy on our people here because them Negroes was pushing that along with the help of these crackers. They was pushing that nonsense about us being a bunch of Africans. Because, like I said, they want to keep that tribal mentality going amongst our people. Look who they pushing right now, Lil Wayne, Waka Flocka. Ain't that the modern day tribal look? Negroes with paint and tattoos all over themselves, piercings everywhere. They look like damn Africans. They look like tribal Africans. They pushing that look. Waka Flocka, all that madness. You understand? That ignorant madness. So, let me go take another call,
man.
brother.
Great show.
Thank you.
Show.
Thank you. Peace. All right. 760, you're on air.
Yeah, I've been listening to you say that the Mayans said that the pyramids were already here. Where do you get that from? That's
we was
out of your head. That's just
I didn't get that out of my head. Actually, no. I didn't actually get that out of my head. That was on a documentary I saw where they was talking about the Mayans.
Oh, a documentary. And who made that documentary? No, tell me who made that documentary.
The same people that made the ancient. No. The same people that made
the ancient aliens. The same people that made the ancient aliens are white people. So you're telling me that the white people said that about my history? I'm a Mexica. You understand what that means?
No, what does it mean?
That means?
What does it mean?
The people who are now called Aztecs, the real name is Mexica, from the Anahuac, which is now called Mexico.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something. Do you consider yourself an Indian?
No, I don't consider myself an Indian. I consider myself a Mexica. That's what I consider myself.
Where does the Mexica come from?
Mexica come from Anahuac. Like I said, it's the center of Mexico. That's where.
Okay, but where do Mexicans come from? Because there's only 3 races on the planet. There's only your so-called. Oh, wait a minute. There's only 3 races on the planet. There's your white, there's your black, there's your East Indian, right, and there's your Asian. Where do you fit into that?
Look at you saying that you got your knowledge off of ancient aliens.
Where do you? No, I asked you. Where do you fit into those 4? Where do you fit into those 4 things?
You're saying you don't believe in races. All right, so don't even bring up the racist stuff. All right.
No, you're saying that you're Mexica. Wait a minute. You said that you're Mexica, and you said this from Mexico, and I asked you where does the Mexicans come from, and you speak Spanish, right?
Yeah, I speak Spanish, and
I speak Spanish, which comes from the Europeans, right?
No,
okay, which comes from the Europeans.
Original language. Nope. I speak.
What's the original language before y'all started speaking Spanish?
What's
the original language before y'all started speaking English?
Now what? Which I speak it to. You want me to speak it to you?
Okay, but where did it come from? Where exactly? What land do you come from?
Now what comes from us? It didn't came from Europe. It didn't came from the blacks. It didn't came from the Asians. It's our language. I speak it.
Okay, but the Mexicans. Wait a minute. The Mexicans. Wait a minute. The Mexicans trace their heritage back to the so-called Native Americans. Because all those words you saying are traced back to the Native Americans. And I said there's only 4 races of people on the planet. There's your so-called blacks, there's your white people, there's your Chinese or your so-called Asians, and there's your East Indian. So you fit between somewhere in there. So if you fit somewhere in between there, because you're not really even a race of people, you fit somewhere in between East Indian and the so-called Asian. You fit between the East Indian and the Asian because a lot of you Mexicans, y'all have slanted eyes like the Asians.
You don't be associated with your own people because they haven't done shit throughout history. And don't even hang up on
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. They built those pyramids that y'all claiming over there in Mexico. They built those pyramids that y'all claiming in Mexico. Y'all didn't build them pyramids. You need to stop lying. Y'all didn't build those pyramids in Mexico.
Fucking ancient aliens saw you. Because ancient
No,
aliens,
you saw those Olmec heads before the white man even said anything. Those Olmec heads was there, and they don't look like you. They look like black people. So who put those heads there? Why didn't your people put their faces there? But why didn't your people put their faces there? Why didn't your people put you are not the Olmecs. Your people are not the Olmecs.
Oh yeah,
your people are not the Olmecs. Your people are not the Olmecs. Your people came from the Bering Strait. You came out of the east. You came from the Asians. No. You came from the Asians and the Bering Strait, and you mixed in with the blacks that was here. That's where your Mexicans come from. Y'all are mixed race of people. Y'all are mixed race of people. That's where you come from.
I know
you come from the mixture. You come from the mixture of the Asians that came. No. Wait, look at the features of the Mexicans.
Well,
wait a minute. Look at the features of the Mexicans. We're gonna have an intelligent conversation or what? Look at the features of the so-called Mexicans. The features of the so-called Mexicans look like Asians. Y'all come from the Asians and the East Indian mix. That's where you come from. There's no Mexican people. Y'all trace y'all heritage back to the so-called Indians, and the Indians came over here under a man named Hussein. Wait a minute, I'm breaking this down for you. Y'all didn't get this from ancient aliens.
You people came from monkeys, and you haven't evolved.
Yeah, we came from. See, there go the racism coming out. There you go. Goodbye. There go the racism coming right out of you, and you ain't built a damn thing. Stop trying to take credit for the Olmecs. You ain't built a damn thing. Go suck on an enchilada. Whatever. Goodbye. There you go. There go the Mexicans who you calling your brothers. There you go. Then you simple-minded Negroes and the Israelites talking about the Mexicans are your people. There you go right there. You come from monkeys. Right? There you go. Let me take another call. 909.
What's up, man? This is the first Mexican that calls.
Okay. Your Mexican brother came in there. He was being real disrespectful.
I heard him. I agree to a certain point. But anyways, I just had to call back because, I mean, the reason I had first called was, basically to agree with everything that you were saying. until like a few minutes ago when he just totally went off the rails.
What does that go off the rails about? Hold on. Before we even get into it, what does that go off the rails about?
You're telling your listeners of how I'm thinking. You're saying, no, he's getting his information from what the white man says. He's just basing his facts on what the white man says. You don't know nothing about me, man.
But what did you? Okay, but you're saying. Well, wait a minute. Did you? Wait a minute. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. What did you saying? You never heard that before. So what that means is, did you do your research, or do you go looking for research from other people? Because I look for research myself and from other people and whatnot, and I look at what's there. I look at what's there in the thing that's there in that region. That's where I went from. So if you telling me you never heard it before, and wait a minute, I'm gonna tell you why I said that. Because obviously the people who are the authoritarians who come out to be the authoritarians on subjects like this, on subjects like history and the existence of a people and where they come from, usually Europeans. Is that not right?
Yeah, you're right. And but you know the reason why I haven't done my research on that particular subject is because that's in the past. This is now.
Okay, so then if you're not even doing wait. You said you haven't done your research on it. So how are you gonna come up here and get in a debate with me about this?
I'm not getting a debate. I was asking you to cite me some sources.
Okay, and I went and I showed you the quickest source. I went and showed you the quickest source that you could see before even having to go and read, because you said it's in the past, so you act like you don't have any real interest in that. I gave you the best source, which is those 40 heads, like the brother said, where you saw those Olmec heads that are black faces that were there. And they acknowledge that those are the people. Wait a minute. And they acknowledge that those are the people who built those pyramids.
Okay.
That was a race of people. That was a race of people. Wait a minute. That was a race of people. Your Olmecs were a race of people that were there already. And I said that your Mexican people are a mixture of other races of people, from your Asian to your East Indian, who crossed the Bering Strait and came over there and came into the Americas and whatnot, and they started interbreeding with those blacks that was there too. So there was a lot of crossbreeding going on, because I said there's only 4 races on the planet.
Okay, now here's my answer. How am I supposed to take your word, as credible? You're just a radio host show.
Well, then go look it up then. Go look it up then. Go look it up then. Well, then go look it up then. Go look it up. Go look it up. That's all I can tell you.
One specific intellectual source.
I gave you plenty of specific things. You choose not to accept. You're not going to go home. Go and look. Go and research. Go. You can go and Google this. You can go and research books on this. Google any subject where it's dealing with the Olmecs and look at the faces and the features of these people. And if you can sit up there and tell me that these people, that you're of those people, then like I said, it's really not open for discussion anymore. It's not based in logic. It's based in belief. You don't want to accept that these people got afros. Look, these people got afros and big noses. They don't, and broad lips. They are black people. It's simple as that.
I'm trying to have a discussion here, but you keep on, talking over me. It just doesn't work.
But you telling me you're not going to accept what I'm saying to you. So what else is there to talk about? Go look it up. That's all I can tell you.
I'm not discrediting you, though. I'm just saying.
If you're saying you're not going to accept what I'm saying, and I told you to go and research what I said. Go type in all these things. That's what the wonderful world of Google is about, and Wikipedia and all this. Hold on. And Wikipedia, or you could do independent research yourself and go pick that up and see what I'm saying to be the truth. That's all I can do for you.
But you've already done your search. You said so yourself. Now cite me some sources. You're supposed to have.
Okay, and I told you the sources to go to. I'm like, you want me to get. So you saying you're not going to accept, because 9 times out of 10 the books you're going to go look in are going to be written by some white person, or going to be written by some, or you can go look up, like I said, anybody. Blacks written. You had a man by the name of Ivan Van Sertima wrote books on stuff like this. You got white scholars that wrote, some who are going to tell you the truth and be honest about those images. And then you got your eyes where you can see these things.
Okay, so now give me at least the name of
okay, go Google it. You got 1,000 different names. I give you one name. You got 1,000 names you can Google. I gave you Ivan Van Sertima. Go look up Ivan Van Sertima. Go look up the history of the Olmecs. You can look that up. There's books out there. I gave you a name, Ivan Van Sertima. Okay.
Okay, moving on to another thing.
Okay, I don't have time. I got 6 minutes left, brother. Listen, call back in the next show when we do this again. I got 6 minutes left. Thank you. All right. Wow. 6 minutes. It's been a hectic night. You know, it just seems so funny when you are speaking about a history on a people, and it don't even really have nothing to do with nobody else. I'm like, why do people care? You know, that's obviously that people want to keep black people in a certain mind frame and want to hide the truth. Because why are so many people weighing in on this who don't have nothing to do with them? Are so-called African Americans really from Africa? No, they're not. Not the African Americans that are here today. No, they're not. They're from the Middle East. They're from Nubia. They're from what you call Kemet or Egypt today. Our people are all over. They're from the South Americas. We went all from that point and went all over the world, even into Africa. But we're not native to the Africans. Your true pure Africans are your tribal people who look like Manute Bol, Dikembe Mutombo, and things like that. So that's where we come from. And like I said, that other Mexican guy, he came right and showed his racism. You came from monkeys. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. When the hell you ever seen a monkey with an afro? But that's the white racism in them. They just like the white man, a lot of them. They go, they race and they ignorance and they stupidity. There you go. Not the guy I was just talking to. I'm not calling you ignorant. I'm talking about your Mexican brother over there. You know, with the white man mentality, the Archie Bunker mentality. Why are we really called African Americans? Because those are two slave titles. Those are two colonizing titles. African, when the Romans colonized Africa and called everybody, decided to call everybody in that region African, which is where it really came from. And American, because we were put here into slavery and the bondage, and we called Americans, and we had the white English names attached to us, which a lot of our people still carry in today, that slave bondage mentality. Where is North, South, and Central Americans really from? The North, South, and Central American so-called blacks are from the Middle East. We're from the East, what they call the Middle East, north of Africa, not Africa. All right? Go look that up. Pay attention. We all linked and we look the same. It's like I said, there's a reason why people like the Dikembe Mutombo and all these people are not here in America. They don't look like the majority of our people look the same, and they don't look like those people. There's a reason, obviously. They left those people there and took us. Who are the real Africans? Like I said, your Dikembe Mutombos and people like that, and your Manute Bols, those are your Africans, your primitive almond beings who were created here on earth in Africa. That's why they have such an attachment to the land, because they were created in that land. Why is this important to know going forward into the future? Because we really need to stop trying to marry ourselves on to those titles that have nothing to do with us. We really need to stop that. All right? As a people, we're trying to move forward in this day and time. We really need to stop that. All right? And all these people who got so much to say and, y'all, I don't understand why you even care. You understand? I don't understand why you even give a damn. You ignorant white people, you ignorant Mexicans, and you ignorant blacks. That's everybody across the board. Because I'm not racist. I'm against ignorance. I don't like stupidity. If a white person would have came and called in here with some sense and not acting like an idiot, or a Mexican would have called in here without acting like an idiot, or a black man would have called in here without acting like an idiot, then I would have talked to you. But you come in here and want to call people monkeys and niggas, that's your mentality, because you can't deal mentally. I don't know why you so concerned about why we're trying to assert ourselves and our origin as a people. It's none of your business. You want to go on being a Mexican, a white man, or you want to have problems with the blacks, then you go on in your little world and keep believing that that's the problem, when the real problem is you. You're the problem. The blight on you or the blight on the human race, the submentals. But all that will be taken care of in time. Join us Monday night on State of Mental Radio. We're going to have a hot topic. We won't be talking about this again. I'm done with this. I'm sealing the barrel on this because too many idiots. I made my point already. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkares. This has been State of Mental Radio. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite infinite capabilities